guys, Joanna here. So I've been thinking about what I want to say today, and mostly it's because I've been processing like a lot of emotional stuff. You know, like you would think that it would be like the physical stuff that I am processing and like trying to, you know, like stay out of my body and stuff. But the reality for me is that like the more I'm present in my body and the more I'm present in my life right this minute, the better I feel, and the better I do. And so, you know, like that brings me to this. Like, I'm a runner. You know, like there's that whole thing. Okay, so like the four things of fear, the four responses to fear are fight, flight, freeze, and fellowship. So, you know, 18 years ago, I was a fighter. I'd kick your ass if I was afraid of you. Like, I can do a lot of damage. I know I just look like a small package, but I can do a lot of damage. So I'd fight. And then, you know, like I realized I was really hurting people, you know, because like not only would I use my fists, you know, like I'd break your face, but I was also starting to use my words and, you know, like emotionally go after somebody, you know, like really just eviscerate them. Not cool. So, you know, like I realized that wasn't, you know, I don't want to be that person, right? I don't want to be someone who harms other people. And I don't want to be passive. So I would do the other, you know, I would run away, you know, and not deal with things. And, you know, like sometimes I would just freeze. That's not my normal one. You know, but that's, you know, like that's what I, you know, so like I've gotten to the place where, you know, I think it's a progression. Like maybe this whole fight, flight, freeze, fellowship thing, maybe that's not like a particular, like you can only have one of four responses, but really it's a progression, right? So if I'm getting violent and I'm fighting, either with my words or with my fists, then that's one thing. And then, like, I made a decision, I'm not doing that anymore. So we took that off the table. So the only three I have are run, flee, freeze, and fellowship. Well, I'm a runner. Like, I know this about myself. And at some point in the last 5 years, like, I made a decision. I'm not running away. You know, and it's true, like what they say, like when you find somebody or something that you just absolutely love and you want to give the best of yourself to, you're going to find a way to be the best that you can, right? So fleeing was out of the question. I'm not running anymore. I'm standing my ground. And then it became freezing, you know, like just like deer in the headlights. What do we do? I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before because I either fight it or I run away from it. What do we do? You know? And I would literally stand there and get smacked upside the face again and again and again and again. And it looked like I was, you know, like either a glutton for punishment. It felt like I was a glutton for punishment, or that I was enabling people. And, you know, it felt like I was enabling people because I didn't know what I was looking at because I was so busy fighting it before, running from it. You know, when left with only these two things, like freezing or fellowship, like, I'm going to freeze. You know, and this experience here, you know, with like having cancer and still wanting to move forward with my life, you know, like, wanting to be physically fit and wanting to eat the best things that I can possibly eat and wanting to like create a business that gives back. It gives more than it takes, you know, and wanting to be a leader of my own life and somebody that inspires others. Like, you know, now I'm down to one response. Fellowship. And I gotta tell you, that is a difficult thing. And it's difficult because I'm so used to being independent. I love my independence. You know, and I'm learning that, like, I can still be independent and I can still do the things that bring me joy, and this is what fellowship is starting to mean. So fellowship is starting to mean that not only do I, respond when other people ask me for assistance, but I ask other people for assistance, because the reality is like there's something called the law of circulation, okay? And it's normally something that we think about with money and things, but it's a internal thing too. So law of circulation states that whatever goes out must come back, right? So really what it's saying is, when you give, or when you get, give. When you give, you get. And it just keeps going. And there's this business organization called BNI, Business Networking International, and that is their total tagline. That is their philosophy, that is their belief system: givers gain. And they are an excellent, excellent, excellent example of what the law of circulation is. It's truly giving and receiving, receiving and giving. Boom, 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 boom. And it's circular. And when you're doing that, the flow around you works. So you can't always be the one that everybody looks up to and everybody asks for help from. Sometimes you have to be the one asking for help. And you get to keep your independence through it. And see, that was my biggest concern, is if I ask for help, what will you take from me? What will it cost me? And I'm learning that when I ask the right people for assistance, I'm not being asked to give anything. And maybe that's because I already give so much. And maybe it's just because I've learned to ask the people that are more or better suited to not taking in return. It doesn't mean it's any less. And it's sometimes that asking is something as simple as, hey, does this pair of pants make my butt look big? It's not something serious all the time. So I think that's progress. And for someone who dislikes emotional stuff as much as what I do, because I gotta tell you, I dislike emotional stuff, but I've gotten really good at going into it. This whole 4 responses to fear and fellowship, maybe that's what I'm gonna be learning some more about. It seems to be that's what I'm learning a lot about recently. So, having said all of that, if there's nothing that you take away from this, if there's one thing that you take away from this, this is what I want you to take away. When you're going through what you're going through, whether it's health-wise, or whether it's building something awesome, or getting out of something, moving on, you still have to look at the emotional stuff. Because the emotional stuff is what's happening on the outside, and it's happening in response. So, if you think about life as a mirror, not everybody's going to mirror you. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. However, people are going to put stuff up to you. They're going to say things and do things and react and act in ways that, bring stuff up for you. And if you're not looking at what you're bringing up, that's what the mirror's for. You get to take a look at how you're responding and reacting to people, and being proactive about things and what you're putting out into the world. And when you do that, then you get to see yourself. So other things are not your mirror. The ability for us to take a look at it and say, at the end of the day, how did I live my life today? What did I do well? What could I have done better? What could I have done differently? And am I being the man that I want to be? That's what being a mirror is like. That's what being a mirror is the world showing you what you got inside you. So use every opportunity that you have to get that. So I hope that wasn't all over the board confusing, but I'm out for the day, so have a great day. I'll talk to you later.